We're looking to finish things off right here in year number 1 of the Denver Broncos franchise here on Madden 25. As today we are headed on the road looking to play spoiler against the Los Angeles Chargers. And it'll be similar over the next couple of weeks with the Bengals and the Chiefs on the schedule as well. In the last episode, we had a double-header, ultimately splitting the two games, bringing our record to 4-10. And that started with an exciting Monday night victory against the Cleveland Browns in a game where there was no scoring after the first half. Then we had our bye week, and after that, we faced off against the Indianapolis Colts. We only lost the game by 10, but the score doesn't really do it justice. We got slaughtered. We were down 28-0 at halftime, and the Colts let the pedal off the metal. We were able to make the score look a lot closer than the game actually was. Along with this matchup against the Chargers, we've got a prospect profile upcoming. And the last time we looked at this class, we took a look at the running backs and receivers. Today we're going to start talking about the big fellas, the tight ends, along with the offensive linemen. And then over the next couple of episodes, we're going to go through the defensive players in this year's draft class. So first, we've got to assess where we are in terms of the tight end position. We were hoping for a breakout season out of Greg Dulcich. That did not end up being the case, and he is currently injured. Adam Troutman has been serviceable. Honestly, the most flashes we've seen from the tight end position was the Lucas Kroll game where he had 7 catches for 80 yards and a touchdown. And with the injury to Dulcich, I think we're going to look to get him some more opportunity here in the offense over the last 3 weeks of the year. I will say, it's a really strong tight end class with 2 projected first-rounders and 5 players projected in the top 100. We'll start things off with Colston Loveland out of Michigan, who went into the season as a projected first-round guy, and he has lived up to the billing. He'll be just 21 years old next season as a rookie, 6'5", 245, really good hands, solid route runner, impressive athlete. Obviously, in Michigan, if you're going to play tight end, you've got to block. He's not a great blocker, but he's certainly a willing one. He played really well in the college football playoff semifinal against Utah, and I'm curious to see him against Georgia. That, of course, being in the upcoming Kansas Dynasty episode. But he's not the only tight end currently projected to go in the first round. Bryson Nesbitt out of North Carolina is a baller. The 6'5", 235-pound senior has had a really strong season, and you factor that in with his athletic traits, and teams are really intrigued by the idea of him going in the first round. Good hands, good athleticism, good ability after the catch. He's inconsistent as a route runner and not a great separator. He's also not a phenomenal blocker yet, but I think the athletic tools will get him drafted at the very least within the top 40 picks. It's not often you get 2 tight ends in the first round, but that speaks to how good of prospects these guys are. And I think it's likely they go early as well because it's not a particularly deep group. Tyler Warren from Penn State, an intriguing athlete, and the production just hasn't really been there. Mitchell Evans from Notre Dame, kind of the opposite. Very steady and consistent player, but doesn't have the high-end traits. I look at Terrence Ferguson, though, from Oregon as the guy who I think would be worth taking a flyer on towards the end of the top 100. Ferguson has the size. He's got the athletic profile. Inconsistent this year, though, with the Ducks. Even though he won the John Mackey Award as the top tight end, the numbers don't necessarily reflect it. In the Rose Bowl, in the second round of the college football playoff semifinal against Kansas, he didn't catch a single pass. He was a non-factor in that game, and that was often the case during games this year for Ferguson. The consistency's going to have to clean up, but if it does, I think he could be quite good. 3 very different players projected here in the third round with Warren, Evans, and Ferguson, and I think it's kind of pick your poison. Whichever player sort of suits your own profile, I think those guys could go in any order. If we're looking for a gem on day 3, I don't think we have to look too far. Jake Brenningstool from Clemson is basically built like an oversized wide receiver. 6'6", maybe 230 to 235. And he plays like a wide receiver, and that comes with its pros and cons at the tight end position. Solid route runner, great separator, good athlete, good after the catch, but will he be able to match up with the speed of defensive backs covering him? Will he be able to match up with the physicality of linebackers covering him? And along with the fact that he's not a great blocker, that's why he's pushed back into day 3, but I see the upside with him. And then further down the board, the common theme is these guys are really old. Brant Kuithe from Utah is 25. Luke Lackley from Iowa, 24. Caden Prescorn from Ole Miss, 25. And let me tell you, in terms of age, it gets worse with the offensive linemen, so buckle up. It's been a mixed bag for us in terms of the offensive line. I think the production has been fine. Quinn Miners, unironically, has been maybe our worst guy. He has not had a great season. In terms of the tackle play, Garrett Bowles and Mike McGlinchey have played well when they've been on the field, and that's been the question with them. They've both missed a number of starts, leaving us to our second and third string tackles. McGlinchey is under contract for the long haul, but Garrett Bowles is going to be 33 next year and is not under contract for next season. Along with an unclear future at left guard and center, it's pretty clear that offensive line is a need for us. The problem is, how do I say this nicely, this offensive line class really is not very good. It's not top-heavy, and it's not deep. There are some really good underclassmen offensive linemen, particularly offensive tackles right now in college football, with guys like Jonah Savanaia from Arizona, Emory Jones Jr. from LSU, both of whom I think would be the top tackle off the board, but as of now, they're both expected to stay for their senior seasons. So that pushes West Virginia's Wyatt Millum up to the forefront as the top projected offensive lineman and left tackle off the board. I think in most seasons, he's probably an early second-round prospect, but given the lack of talent in the offensive line class, I think he goes in round 1. Really solid player, 6'6", 320, wins with power, good pass protector. Struggled against Takaius Brinkley, the true freshman this year, but otherwise he's been really good. Holland Pierce from Rutgers is the other guy who I'm confident goes in the first round. The first thing you'll notice is that he is large. 6'8", 345 pounds. This is a behemoth of a human being, and he plays with power and strength. Really good pass protector, solid run blocker. Obviously, he's not the quickest on his feet, given how big he is, but he is an interesting story. A guy who really was not on NFL radars at all coming into the year, but he has played so well that he has earned his opportunity as a potential first-round pick. It also certainly helps that this tackle class is not the greatest, but he's had a great season, and I would be surprised if he does not go probably in the back end of the first round. The one concern with Pierce is that he's 24 years old, and the same applies here for Anthony Belton out of North Carolina. With the pandemic year, eligibility is just all in whack. That's why there's so many old players here. But with Belton, he's another guy who's really big, really strong, really physical. Another strong pass protector. I don't think he's quite as good in the run game as Pierce, which is why he's projected to go a little bit lower. I do think he's a little bit better of an athlete than Pierce at almost the same size, 6'6", maybe 340. And that brings us to Will Campbell out of LSU, who I imagine a lot of you would have expected to be the top projected tackle in this class. And it's easy to see why. 6'6", 320. During his true freshman and sophomore seasons, he was awesome. Probably the best run blocker in the entire draft. But he has been awful as a pass protector this year, and his stock has plummeted. Now, again, it helps that he's in a bad tackle class, and because of that, I think someone's still going to take a shot on him in the top 50, but he has been dreadful in pass pro, and he has to clean that up if he's going to be an NFL starting tackle. Some other names to look out for include Ariante Ursary from Minnesota, another guy who was a likely first-rounder going into the year who's kind of struggled. You've got Miles Hinton from Michigan, big kid, he's had a great season. Marquez Cox out of Kentucky, 25 years old. Again, not ideal, but that's what we're working with this year's group. And again, it's not a particularly deep class, which isn't ideal considering the lack of talent at the top. You think it's bad at left tackle, though. There is not a projected first or second rounder at right tackle. Currently, the only two guys projected in the top 100 picks are Jeremiah Byers from Florida State and Tiger Shanks from UNLV. There are a few other fringe top 100 picks in this range. Ozzie Trapillo out of Boston College, Johnny Cornelius out of Oregon. And if we look at this group of 4, I think the order of these guys very well could change once we get closer to the draft, considering they're all projected in that 3rd to 4th round range right now. But I would look at a Johnny Cornelius from Oregon, highly productive kid, started in the FCS at Rhode Island where he was really, really good, transfers over to Oregon, and his level of play has translated to the upper levels into the Pac-12 and now the Big Ten. 6'5", around 310 pounds, solid pass protector. I wish he was a little bit more consistent in the run game, but otherwise, I think he could be pretty solid for a fringe top 100 guy. The depth here isn't great. There are a few solid names here. I think Jack Sherwin from Western Michigan is the deep sleeper of this group. I think he's probably somebody who's best suited to move to guard and could be a good pro. As we look at the interior, not great, but there are some very strong players here, and that starts with Donovan Jackson out of Ohio State, former 5-star recruit who has really taken a big step in his development this year. 6'4", 320, strong kid, really good pass protector, very good in the run game as well, and he's an impressive athlete at his size. Good footwork, good technique. I think this is somebody who can be a day one starter at left guard. Behind him, you've got a few other fringe top 100 picks, Logan Parr, Joshua Gray, who's also 25 years old. My fun fact of the day with Gray is that he graduated from the same high school as C.J. Stroud, but he graduated 2 years before C.J. Stroud, which speaks to, you know, his age. My other cool fun fact here is Michael Ford Jr., Rock Chalk, the Kansas guard, and Marcus Harper II from Oregon were also high school teammates. They played at the same school in Flossmoor, Illinois, just outside of Chicago. Moving over to right guard, I think this is probably the best of the three interior offensive line positions in this class, and that starts with Luke Condra out of Cincinnati. Started his career at Louisville, transfers to the Bearcats, where he has become one of, if not the best, interior offensive linemen in the country. He's one of the strongest players in this class. Great run blocker, great pass protector. He checks off all the boxes. His stock has gone way up this year and has played himself into first-round conversations. You've got a couple other potential top 100 picks here. Miles Maruau from San Diego State and Connor Colby from Iowa are both quite good. Tate Ratledge from Georgia is the big name here, but his consistency has been up and down this year. Also missed some time with an injury, so his stock has gone down. At center, the top projected player here is from Arkansas State, that being 22-year-old Jacob Bayer. Maybe not the biggest school, maybe not the biggest name, but look at this guy just obliterate the defensive lineman, moving him across the field. 6'3", 315 pounds. Bayer is another guy who's a really good run blocker, impressive season in pass protection. He's a really smart player as well. You need that when you're looking for your center. But I don't think he's the clear and concise top center in this class because I think Cooper Mays from Tennessee is an intriguing athlete with a high ceiling. His brother, Cade Mays, is currently an offensive lineman in the NFL. And then Eli Cox, you'll notice that I can't put his name into the Madden database. I think you can put 2 and 2 together as to why that is. That's also the case with Marquez Cox. And ironically, both of those guys go to Kentucky, which is the funny part about it. Behind them, I think Jonah Monheim from USC is probably the most intriguing of the day. 3 centers. I think he's got some intriguing upside, but his stock has gone down a little bit this year. His production hasn't been up to par, at least from what it was last year. So that wraps up our prospect profile today. Let me know what tight ends and offensive linemen you guys like down below in the comments. And again, over the next couple of episodes, we'll be talking about the defensive side of the ball, which is where I think this draft class really excels. So part of the fun for the next 3 weeks is we get to try to play spoiler. The Chargers and the Chiefs, very close in the AFC West. Of course, we've already beaten both of those teams this year. Close one against the Chargers, 20-17, with the game-winning 4th down touchdown from Bo Nix to Courtland Sutton. As we know, the Chargers are led by If-Man, Justin Herbert, who is a really, really good player, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and they have improved his skill position group since we last talked about them. Now, J.K. Dobbins is hurt. He will not play, but Amari Cooper will. They got him at the trade deadline from the Browns, gave him a big contract extension, so Cooper looks to be the top target for Justin Herbert for years to come. The offensive line is strong, 2 bookend tackles with Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt, and a talented defense as well, with some high-end talent up front and in the back end with Derwin James. Should be a fun matchup here at SoFi Stadium. The 4-10 Denver Broncos looking to play spoiler and sweep their interdivision foes. The 10-4 Los Angeles Chargers. 3rd and 4, Hayden Hurst, the tight end, is in motion for Justin Herbert and the gang as he looks to throw it. Rolls out to the right, and he connects with Amari Cooper, who shrugs off the hit from Riley Moss and gets it to the 48 for a gain of around 25 yards. Even at the ripe age of 30, the Chargers still very much believe in Amari Cooper as a long-term piece for this team. Here is Ladd McConkey, the rookie out of Georgia, making multiple defenders miss, and he gets it inside the 15, wrapped up by Surtain and Asamoah. Quick start to the drive for the Chargers. They're getting some big plays after the catch early. Following play, Gus Edwards smothered in the backfield. Baron Browning leads the way. P.J. Locke was there as well. And so now it is a 2nd and 14 here for the Chargers after the big loss. Herbert winds up looking for the back of the end zone. It's Amari Cooper. And the Chargers strike first as they march right down the field in for a touchdown. And it's 7-0. We'll see if Bo Nix and the Bronco offense can respond. 3rd and 7. Nix looks short, and it's Lucas Kroll with the first down. I said I want to get him involved more. He had that great game early in the year. He's been banged up, and we haven't been able to get him on the field since then. But now I think we can. Marvin Mims on the following play down the sideline, brings it to the 44-yard line. Denver's offense seems to be in a good rhythm early. Up the middle, nice throw and catch. The Oregon connection. Bo Nix and Troy Franklin get it to the 29. Nix looking good early on this drive. He's 3 for 3 and in empty here on 2nd down, and he is sacked. A big loss of yardage. The Chargers making the play in the backfield. That was the big fella, Poona Ford, with the sack, and now it's 3rd and 15. Nix hit as he throws, incomplete. Joey Bosa into the backfield to bring him down. It looked like there was an open receiver downfield, but he did not have enough time to get rid of it. 51-yarder for Will Lutz is right down Main Street, making it look easy. So the Broncos, with a solid opening drive, they'll take 3 and trail 7-3 as the Chargers get it back. 3rd and 2 with a little over a minute left in the first quarter. Handoff for Gus Edwards up the middle, and he is stuffed. Multiple defenders there to bring him down. Denver forces the punt a lot better after the last drive where they just got gashed through the air. And they'll get it back on offense. 3rd and 9. Here is Nix up the middle. Goes short for Josh Reynolds. And he gets around 5. Good play there by the Chargers to bring him down. It's Finley. And that'll wrap up the first quarter. 7-3. LA with the early lead. Both teams looking good on their initial possessions. Second time around, not so much. And we'll see what the Chargers can do getting the ball here early in the second quarter. 1st and 10 from the 26. First play of the drive, then the first play of the quarter. Herbert looks to throw it, dances around in the pocket. He's got space to run. Probably should have slid. He takes a big hit, but he's able to get around 13 yards, moving the chains. Herbert alone in the backfield on 3rd and 8, and he is swallowed up. It's Nick Bonito who brings him down, and the Broncos will get it back in this battle of Oregon quarterbacks. Let's go Ducks. So we'll see if Denver's offense can look better here on this possession, as on 2nd and 2, short throw is caught. Javonte Williams to the outside. He is smothered out of bounds by Derwin James. He's actually able to keep his footing. And Garrett Bowles is hurt. That's not ideal, especially considering Mike McGlinchey also got injured on the previous possession. Health has been an issue with our 2 starting tackles, and sure enough, both of them exit the game early. Javonte with a big run, gets by Derwin, and he is into the red zone to around the 17-yard line. But I think this one is coming back. A holding call against the rookie Nick Gargiulo, who is now in at right tackle, replacing the injured Mike McGlinchey. It's not ideal having 2 veteran offensive tackles who have continuously not been able to stay on the field. Javonte will still get his, as on 2nd and 9, he runs for the first down. Hit out of bounds by Alohi Gilman. Derwin James joins as well. 3rd and 9 now. Bo Nix under pressure. The one thing he couldn't do there was take the sack. Justin Eboigbe, the rookie out of Alabama, is there to bring him down along with Joey Bosa. That may have knocked Denver out of field goal range, but they'll still try. 56-yarder is no good for Will Lutz. It had the distance, but it was wide left. And ultimately, it will remain 7-3. Lutz has been a little inconsistent this year. I think it's gotten better as the year's gone along, but still far from a perfect season from him. Chargers back with it. Up the middle, Amari Cooper continuing his big first half. 3 catches, 53 yards, and a score for Cooper as he gets the Chargers past the 35. Now past the 30. Play action. Herbert is stuffed in the backfield. Brian Asamoah in for the sack, forcing a loss of 8. Asamoah's made some nice plays in this game so far. 3rd down, it's broken up by Chris Abrams-Drain. There was a receiver open deep. Denver got burnt on the back end. They didn't have a safety back deep to potentially stop the open man, but luckily they get the stop, and the field goal try is no good. 54-yarder for our good friend Cameron Dicker, the kicker, is wide to the right. Dragons legend Cameron Dicker and it'll remain 7-3. Both kickers now with misses, and Denver gets it back with under 3 to go in the first half. 3rd and 4, here's Troy Franklin. Gets the first down to the 41. Our offense looked good on that first drive, but it's been very up and down since then. We're hoping for a more stable possession, and hopefully we can find the end zone for the first time. Nearing the 2-minute mark, Jaleel McLaughlin breaks the tackle from Derwin James, and he gets the first down to the 28-yard line. Time is not an issue right now for the Broncos here at the 2-minute warning, past the 30 with all 3 timeouts. Nix on 3rd and 10 with a strike up the middle for Josh Reynolds. Nice catch, and he hangs on for the first down. 2nd and 10, Nix looks to throw it. Under pressure, looks to evade the sack, on the run, rolling left, has an open man, it's Courtland Sutton, and he's in for a touchdown! The Broncos take the lead. What a play by Bo Nix on the run with a dime for Sutton to put Denver ahead. Sutton definitely was not his first read. He might have been his last read, but Nix does a great job evading the sack from Mack. For whatever reason, Courtland Sutton's just wide open, and he's able to take advantage, making it 10-7. Chargers back with it. Herbert's picked! Patrick Surtain with the interception, and Herbert tracks him down at the 11. All the momentum right now belongs to the Broncos with the improbable touchdown by Sutton, followed by a quick interception from Patrick Surtain, his 4th of the season, and Denver's going to get the ball back at the 11. It was a curl route. He was looking for Ladd McConkey, but Surtain sees it coming from a mile away, jumps the route, and the Broncos now can make it a 2-score lead. What an end of the first half for Denver. On first down, Nix under pressure. He is sacked on the play. That'll go for a loss of a few. Morgan Fox brings him down. Now at the 7, 3rd and 6. Bo scrambles to the left, and he is sacked again. This time it's Junior Colson, the rookie out of Michigan, who brings him down. Chargers call time. Will Lutz will have to settle for the field goal. His kick is good, and it's a 6-point game, 13-7. Considering they started at the 11, I feel like the Broncos could have gotten more there, but still, they can't really complain, up by 6. But the Chargers are going to look to get some late points as DJ Chark gets it out of bounds to the 35. If I'm the Chargers, I think I would just take the points now. With no timeouts, why risk it? Herbert will quickly throw it away. Smart decision, and now they will go for the field goal. 52-yarder for Cameron Dicker as Coach Simeon Bonnet, his former Dragons teammate, will look to ice him. With a man back deep, a 52-yarder for Cameron Dicker, the kicker. This one is right down Main Street, 13-10. The Chargers cut the lead in half. Going into the halftime break, this game wasn't super exciting through the first 15 minutes, but it ramped up quickly with some highlight plays on both sides. Denver up by a field goal as we go into halftime. Let's take a look at our report around the rest of the NFL. We'll start things off in Las Vegas. One of the best teams in the AFC this year has been the Jacksonville Jaguars, coming into this game with a record of 10-4. And they're looking pretty good so far. This touchdown from Trevor Lawrence to the standout rookie, Brian Thomas Jr., would help put the Jacksonville Jaguars ahead 17-6. You know, the Jaguars could have this record in real life. All they have to do is win their next 10 games. Unlikely, but possible, I guess. We'll see. Next up, we'll head to Baltimore. The Ravens can clinch the #1 seed with a win, and ultimately that's exactly what they would do. This game started off quick for Baltimore with a 70-yard touchdown run early here by Derrick Henry. Even at the ripe age of 30, he's still got it left in the tank. The King, once again, enters his castle, and the Ravens blow out the Pittsburgh Steelers in this one, 38-15, your final score. The Ravens now 14-1, again locking up the #1 seed. Lamar Jackson with a great game. Steelers dropped to 8-7, still fighting for a playoff spot in a crowded AFC wildcard picture. And finally, earlier today in Kansas City, this game obviously very important for the Chargers, considering they're a game ahead of Kansas City. And, well, unfortunately for the Chargers, they did not get their wish. A Christmas miracle for the Kansas City Chiefs as they win here on Christmas Day against the Houston Texans, 30-24. Chiefs moves up to 10-5. Not a good loss for the Texans. They're now a game and a half behind Jacksonville, maybe 2 games if Jacksonville holds on against the Raiders. And as I mentioned, with a crowded AFC wildcard race, it's not going to be easy. They still control their own fate, but they're certainly far from a lock to get in. As we go into the second half, the offense had its ups and downs, but we saw some big plays late from Bo Nix, including the ultra-impressive touchdown pass. I want to set the tone on the ground, though. The Chargers do not have a particularly good run defense. As for the defense, Justin Herbert has not been good looking short, but he has been effective trying to stretch the field. We've got to prevent the deep ball, and I think we can win this game. Bo Nix looking deep. He's got Marvin Mims outrunning Alohi Gilman, and he'll take it to the crib. 73-yard touchdown and a big opening to the third quarter for the Broncos. Marvin Mims has had a tremendous season, but the only thing against his resume this year is the touchdown production. That's just his second score of the entire season, the longest passing play for the Broncos of the year, and it is now 20-10. You can't have just one guy focusing on Marvin Mims deep, because if Mims beats him in man coverage and there's no safety back to stop a big play, well, that'll happen. Bolts back with it quickly as Hayden Hurst gets nearly 20, wrapped up out of bounds by Ronnie Hickman, but not before getting past the 50, as the Chargers offense looks to respond quickly after the big touchdown by Marvin Mims. Handoff to Gus Edwards to the left side, and it's Hickman again. Brings him down in the backfield for a loss of 2. I feel like Ronnie Hickman's really made some impressive strides this year as the season's gone on. And Herbert is picked off on 3rd and 1. Cody Barton snatches it from midair, and Denver gets the ball back. Really good job there by Barton, high-pointing the football. The fellas are playing leapfrog in the end zone. Everything's going well right now for the Broncos, especially defensively. I think the defense has been phenomenal since the opening possession with the quick touchdown. The Chargers have only scored 3 points since then. Nice run there by Javonte, 3rd and 5. Mims cannot hang on. He was open. Not an easy catch to make, but certainly a catchable ball. Drops it, and that'll lead to a punt. Chargers back with it, 3rd and 3. 3.5 to go in the third with Hurst in motion. Herbert looks to throw it. Under pressure. Dances around. He'll scramble for the first down. Sliding in front of Alex Singleton. But an impressive play there by Justin Herbert showing off his legs. 2nd and inches. Herbert with a strike down the field for Amari Cooper, who takes a pop from Ronnie Hickman, but not before bringing it to the 36-yard line. And the Charger offense again is moving it nicely. They were on the last drive, though, before they turned it over. As Gus Edwards has some space and room to run to the left side, he gets around 18 yards, wrapped up out of bounds by Patrick Surtain. Likely the final play of the third quarter. 1st and goal from the 7. Herbert, short throw, caught by Ladbakaki, and he gets around 5, pushed down by Riley Moss. Hey, those two guys have something in common. I can't quite put my finger on it, though, and that'll wrap up the third. 20-10 in favor of the Broncos, the only scoring in this quarter. The 70-plus yard touchdown for Marvin Mims, a 10-point lead into the fourth here for Denver, but the Chargers are knocking on the doorstep. They've got it at the 2. 2nd and goal. Handoff up the middle. All aboard the Gus bus. Gus Edwards in for the touchdown, taking on a full load. Pause. No diddy. With J.K. Dobbins injured, and it's 20-17. The Chargers right back into the game. Denver gets it back. 3rd and 5. It's intercepted! James Bradbury picks it off, and he will high step it into the end zone for a touchdown, and the Chargers take the lead. Denver was up by 10, well, maybe a minute ago, and now the Chargers are winning. Bradbury watches Bo Nix eyes the entire play. Jumps the route as Nix was looking for Lucas Kroll. The Chargers with 14 points in this quarter alone, and Denver now trails by 4, needing a comeback. Here's a good start to the following possession. Troy Franklin continuing what's been one of the most productive games of his career, out to the 38. Fumble, and it's quickly scooped up by Denver. Nearly a costly turnover from Jaleel McLaughlin. He still loses 4. But that could have been a lot worse. With no momentum on our side, we could not afford for that ball to come out. Look at Bo Nix on 2nd and 14, scrambling up the middle. Gets the first down to the 48-yard line. A really impressive play there by Bo, showing off his legs, showing off his improvising ability. 3rd and 5, up the middle. Nice throw and catch for Courtland Sutton, who takes a big hit from James, but is able to hang on to the football for the first down, and this drive continues. Denver moving it nicely. 3rd and 1, Javonte Williams is stuffed. He doesn't get it. I don't think it's going to matter because this one will be coming back anyway. A holding call against the Broncos. They'll call it on the center, Sam Mustipher, and the Chargers will accept the penalty, so it'll remain 3rd down, but now it's 3rd and 11 here from the 35. 3.5 to go. Nix looks to throw it, sends it up the middle, double coverage. It's caught for a first down by Reynolds. How did that work? Bo Nix kind of figured, yeah, I can't really throw it away here. We're running out of chances. So he sends it up the middle where multiple defenders are near. But Josh Reynolds somehow comes down with it. 3rd and 1. This time Javonte Williams does get the first down, and that sends us to the 2-minute warning. It's anyone's game. The Chargers lead by 4, but the Broncos have it inside the 10. Can they punch it in here? 1st and goal from the 8 here at the 2-minute warning. Nix will look to throw it up the middle. Josh Reynolds breaking tackles. He's in for a score. Josh Reynolds with the touchdown. Bo Nix with his 3rd score through the air. I believe that's a career high. And Denver takes the lead. It's 27-24 now following the point after try by Will Lutz. So the Chargers now with it. Here is Ladd McConkey with a big gain to the 32, and that'll push them already into field goal range. Keep in mind, all they need is 3 to tie the game. 3rd and inches, big hit, but a big catch for a first down. Clock is running. There's only around 13 seconds left. Herbert goes short. Amari Cooper out of bounds at the 8, and that will stop the clock. Offense stays on the field here, as on 2nd and 2, it's going to be a reverse sweep, and the Broncos are having none of it. McConkey loses a couple, and I think this is where the Chargers are going to call the timeout and bring out the field goal unit. Denver calls time, looking to ice the kicker. It didn't work at the end of the first half. It's a 28-yarder for Cameron Dicker to tie it with just 7 seconds to go in regulation, and it is through the uprights. We are knotted up at 27 apiece, and that'll likely bring us into overtime. Denver's probably going to run one more play here. Nix looks to throw it, looking downfield. Franklin makes the catch, but he's quickly wrapped up, and through 4 quarters, we do not have a winner. The Denver Broncos are making history, tying the NFL record for most overtime games played in a single season, that now being 5. This is our 5th overtime game this year. We're 1-3. The lone win coming all the way back in Week 1 in Seattle against the Seahawks. Since then, we've dropped our last 3 overtime games, most recently a few weeks ago against the Raiders. Time for the coin toss. You guys know the drill. Tails never fails. It lands on tails. We want the ball, and we're going to score. I said that against the Raiders, and, well, there was a score. A game-losing pick 6. I think every team who has started with the ball in overtime did not score a touchdown on the opening possession. So we'll see if we can change that trend here. It's a screen on 2nd and 10. Javonte Williams with a first down to the 34-yard line, and he's out of bounds. Good play there by the offense. Just get a first down, get something on the board, and let's get some momentum rolling. Look at all that space up the middle for Bo as he slides at the 45-yard line. Everybody was covered, but that space right there in the middle was not, and Bo Nix does a good job recognizing it. 2nd and 4 from the 26 on the run. First down reception at the 19. It's Adam Troutman, and Denver's moving it nicely. They've got it in the red zone. 1st and 10 from the 19. Pitch to the outside. Javonte Williams loses 6. Khalil Mack brings him down, and that'll make it a 2nd down and long. 2nd and 16 to be exact. Here's Nix under pressure. Shakes off the sack. On the run, looking for the end zone. It's Sutton! Touchdown! Broncos win it! What a play there by Bo Nix, connecting with Courtland Sutton for the 2nd time today. And Denver wins it in overtime. Just like the first time we played against the Chargers, a game-winning touchdown from Bo Nix to Courtland Sutton is ultimately the difference. And again, Bo Nix made that play because of what he was able to do under pressure, evading the sack, getting out of the pocket, on the run with a bullet for Courtland Sutton. Do you believe in miracles? Bo Nix with the best game of his NFL career, a career-high 4 touchdown passes, leading us to the win over his former Oregon counterpart, Justin Herbert, in a thrilling matchup. We have now swept the 10-5 Los Angeles Chargers, and that pushes us up to a record of 5-10. This was a really impressive, gritty win, and I think wins like this at the end of the season can really go a long way for the future of this team. Most people might think it's a good game to lose to help out draft positioning, but I think winning games late and helping out potential morale for the future is more important than picking a few spots higher in the first round. Obviously, the story here is Bo Nix. He was terrific. 26 of 35, 331, career high in yards, career high in touchdowns, 74% completion percentage, and he was not throwing checkdowns. 10 yards per passing attempt. Justin Herbert, I thought, also played a pretty good game, minus the interceptions, and both of the picks were more so really good defensive plays. Other standouts on offense include Amari Cooper, another great game for Courtland Sutton. I thought Troy Franklin had his best game of his career, and Marvin Mims, of course, had the big score himself. Defensively, I thought we were pretty solid. The pass rush was okay. Of course, we had the 2 turnovers from Surtain and Barton. The defense started slow. They really picked it up, and the offense had one of their best games of the year after a few consecutive really bad performances offensively. Unfortunately, we will be without Mike McGlinchey for the remainder of the regular season. He has suffered, I think, 3 separate injuries now, and lucky for us, he's going to be here for a while. 3 more years on his deal. He'll be making close to $72 million. All that for 9 games a season. Yippee. Let's take a look at our scores around the rest of the NFL. We got to look at some of these earlier. As for your players of the week, I was hoping to see Bo Nix here. Unfortunately not. We've got Geno Smith, Josh Allen, Ernest Jones, and Sam Hubbard. So with 2 weeks to go, we're going to be looking to play spoiler again, now against the Bengals. They can't win their division with the Ravens at 14-1, but they are currently the number 5 seed in the AFC and can clinch a playoff spot with a win. We're also going to have another prospect profile going over some of the big fellas up front defensively, which should be fun. So that'll wrap up the episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out. Broncos country. Let's ride.